Hello, I'm MrTieDye. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing a sunset. So I had a request for a sunset a while back and I'm finally getting around to it. I've already made one sunset video over the ocean. But the other way that I've done sunset is in the hills, over the mountains. So I decided I might as well make a design, or excuse me, make a video for both of them because they're done two different ways. So for this one here, we're going to draw the hills in. So what I'm starting with is a tee that's been soaked in soda ash. It's been spun out and it's just barely damp. And then of course I've turned it inside out because I like to work on the inside. Part of that is because sometimes my washable markers or my pencils won't wash out. But the biggest thing is sometimes the dye doesn't dissolve all the way, and there'll be little tiny specks of dye that will sit on your t-shirt and then cause little tiny spots on there. Well, if this happens, most of the time those spots will be just on the inside. So that's why I work on the inside. It's just been a habit of mine. That's how I do it. So anyways, we're going to draw some hills in here, and you can draw those just kind of however you like to draw hills. So put a couple hills in there, and then I'm going to put a sun in there. For the sun, I usually like to just pick a round object and draw it in there. We're going to do it just a little bit off center just because I like non-symmetrical stuff. Sometimes, not always. So there's my sun. So what we're going to do now is fold both of these up. I find that it works easiest if I do the sun first, because that way I can kind of pick that up. I line it up so that I can see that sun is the same on the back, front and the back. So I'm just using my window here as a light source and just making sure those lines are lined up. So once I know that that's lined up good, then I'll go ahead and do an accordion fold on the sun here. This is a half a sun, and this of course is going to put the design on the front and the back of the t-shirt. These are both pretty basic folds, so it's easy to do those front and back. So get that tied up and then tied off here with some kite string, or you could put a rubber band on there, whatever is your choice, or even sinew. Sinew works. Main thing is just that it's held together. So once I get that done, I'll go ahead and cut the string on that. And then I pick this up, and I like to stretch this back out here. I just kind of pull gently on this here, and that just, you want to make sure you don't pull up past your tie line there, but you do want that extra fabric out of that fold there. So once I have that, now I'm going to fold my mountains in. And the sun, of course, is sticking up there in the middle. And the other nice thing about this design is you can do double duty. You can do this as a sunset, or you can do it as a moonrise. All you have to do is just change your colors, you know, of your, put this instead of yellow, put it in the gray, and change the color of your sky, and all of a sudden now you have a moon rising over the hills. So, and I've done that both ways also. So now I'm just going to do my accordion folds. I'm doing a little bit bigger ones, a little more, probably ½ inch or more. And this here doesn't have to be nice and neat because these are hills. So I drew them on there just kind of rounded top, and you can draw them however you like the hills. The main thing is that you're just getting them tied up. I go all the way across the tee on this. And if they're just a little bit jagged, then that can kind of give it the look of having trees up on top of the hill. So anyways, there is my hill line now. So I'm going to tie that off, and then we'll get the rest of the tee scrunched up and ready for dye. Okay, so there's my hills there. That'll be my trees and stuff. And now this top part here is going to be our sky. I'm going to scrunch that up. And once again, I still have this tied here, and I didn't even bother to tie it off on here because the scrunch was easy enough. So there is my sunset over the hills tee. So here's my sun poking up. The top part of this here is going to be the sky, and the bottom part's going to be the hills. So I'm going to get some gloves on, and we'll put some color on this thing. Okay, we're back to put some dye on this thing. So to start with, I'm going to add just a little bit of brown down to the hilly areas here. Just because we want some dirt and maybe some tree branches in there. Just the random look of it. But most of the tree line, the hills, are going to be in greens. So I'm going to use two different shades of green in here. And just kind of randomly color this. This is all personal choice in coloring, however you want to do it. I'm going to overlap that light green with the darker green, but not all of it. Okay, now for my sun, we're going to dye that in lemon yellow, so it's nice and bright. Okay, let's turn this around so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and dye this whole thing, and I'm letting some of the dye kind of expand out past my tie lines just because this is a very bright sun, so it's going to be shining all over the place. So I'm squeezing this here to get the dye to go inside, but then also to get it to spread outside of the band there a little bit. And then I'm going to dye a darker color around the sun, because now we got nice sunset going on, so we have some darker colors here. The golds. I even have a little bit of orange in this guy. A little bit of the yellow down here by the green, for some separation. A little bit more yellow in the sky. So once again, this here is just kind of a personal choice of how you want to lay your colors down. Now I'm going to go with some light blue, and then we're going to go into dark blue. So I might end up with just a little bit of green. I'm trying to leave white space in between my turquoise and my yellow, but there still might be some green, but we get all kinds of colors in the sky when we have sunsets, so I figured that's okay. Okay, now we're going to go with some purples in here on this blue sky. I'm going to darken that blue sky up a little bit with some darker blue, so I'm just putting that over top. I really like to layer colors, and with sunsets, I think that's perfect thing to do is layer colors, because we've watched some beautiful sunsets and they always seem to have so many colors, and it's hard to tell where the colors, one color ends and the next one begins. So I'm just layering some of these different colors over top, and then I think I'm even going to put some black over top of this purple here just to darken a little bit of that up too. So there's my sunset. Now I'm going to flip this over and dye it, but I'm going to, because I don't want my sun to flop over here, I'm going to hold it with one hand here. So I'm just going to put my fingers on either side of the sun so I can flip that over. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dye a little bit of brown along this hill line here and randomly through the T. And then some green. I'll even add a little bit of fuchsia in here. So I'm just going to go around the outer edge here with the fuchsia on this side. And then I'm going to do the same color layering. I'll start out with my lighter colors and then just add darker colors over top. Oh, there's my tag. I got to get that out of my way. Okay, and there is the sunset tea. So I'm going to let this batch for 48 hours and then I'll have the results for you in about 2 seconds.